I need to take a university course on Isla and Grimm's banter. Forget the Taylor Swift course. I need this. Someone call up the president because this is what I need. This is during Black History Month. That is part of my right. Hey y'all, a couple of things. One, my makeup is already done because this book this week is a bit of a doozy. I had a lot to say and I can't be multitasking. I simply cannot. What can I say? I simply cannot. Today's tea is oolong tea from this tea thing, and I haven't tried it yet because it's too hot. So yeah, today we're gonna be talking about Lightlark by Alex Astor. This bad boy right here. Look at this. I bring to you quotes today because we're getting into it. I'm sure you all know the drama surrounding the book. I don't really know the drama because I'm uninformed and I simply don't care. Let's leave that in 2023 because this is a drama-free channel. We're not trying to deal with all that. Also, I feel like I should do an intro. Hi, if you're new here, that's great. My name is Merlin Lolo. That's not my actual name. I just be saying that because I'm trying to remain ambiguous on the internet.
A shout out to everybody with social anxiety. I kind of feel sorry for you. Oh yeah.
This is for fun. Welcome if you're new. If you're returning, then hi. Leave a comment, leave a like. I don't know. That feels a bit crazy to be asking for that right now, but let's get into the book. Also, my script is behind my camera today. Crazy. So I'm gonna be like looking up. If you see that, no you don't. Don't be an op, okay? So before talking about the characters and the plot, I'm just gonna let you know a little bit about the lore because this book is a little bit complicated when it really doesn't have to be. In the universe of the book Lightlark, there are 6 different realms and each realm has their own magical power and they all have their own ruler. So there's the Sunling realm, and then there's the Moonling realm, and then there's Skyling, the Starling realm, and then the Wildling realm. And weirdly enough, there's this realm called Nightshade, and I'm just gonna start off by saying that this makes absolutely no sense because how can you name 5 of the realms with Ling at the end and then you have Nightshade? It just throws off the whole thing. It's not consistent. It pisses me off. So these 5 different realms are all coming together to live on this island called Lightlark, hence the name of the book, and they all generally have a pretty good time together, living harmoniously until there's a war between the Sunlings and the Nightshades, which ultimately ends up with a curse being casted on all of the realms. So the results are that everyone in the Sunling realm, they can't walk out in the sun because the sun is their power source, and then the Nightshades can't walk out during the nighttime because of the moon. So if they do, they'll die. The Moonlings are cursed with getting brutally murdered once a month. When there's a full moon by the ocean, they get drowned. And that's because they're basically the Avatar waterbenders, which doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways, I'm not gonna talk about it because we don't have enough time for that. So then there's Skylings who are cursed with the inability to fly, which is pretty boring. They're a pretty useless realm in my opinion. And then Starlings are also very useless because they're cursed with dying by the age of 25. So everyone lives to be like 500 years old, but the Starlings live to 25. Then finally, the Wildlings are cursed with being prohibited to fall in love, and if they do, then they have to kill the person that they're in love with and eat their heart. And the crazy thing about Lightlark is that ever since the curses were casted, the island basically gets abandoned and only shows up once every 100 years, which happens to be this year of the book, and that is called the Centennial. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's get into the main characters. My main character here is a wildling, and her life kind of sucks because she was born without powers, and unlike most people in the book, because everyone in the book has powers except for her. Her name is Isla, which is so unoriginal. Isla, like island? Like, come on. I see what you did there, Alex. I'm watching. She's the queen of the wildling. Basically, in the beginning of the book, it's not long before she's sent to the island Lightlark, where she has to fight against the rest of the rulers of each realm to break the curses, because the person who wins breaks the curses and then they get the powers. And then the only catch to this is that they have to kill someone. The victor becomes the ruler of Lightlark. So I'm just going to introduce the other characters that actually matter from my favorite to least favorite because I have a bias. I'm willing to say that. That's not my fault. But the first ruler that Isla meets is actually my favorite, and his name is Grimshaw, and I love Grimm so much, and I'll actually say it with no shame. Call me Britney S. Pierce the way that I am a slave for him. Like, you don't know if you to me. You speaks to me. Saying that during Black History Month is absolutely wild, but I don't care. But anyways, leave a like, or you're anti-black. I don't make the rules. What can I say? So Zaddy Grimshaw is this tall, brooding 500-year-old man who's the ruler of Nightshade, and right off the bat you can tell that he has secrets. Basically everyone is like over 500 years old, and then Isla is like 18. Like, what is this Bella x Edward romance going on here? I don't know. So then we meet Celeste, and she is a Starling ruler, and if you remember from earlier, she's cursed with dying at 25. She's only like a couple of years older than Isla. Next we have Azul. He is the most forgettable character ever, and he's also canonly a bisexual king. We stan, but otherwise he's just like a brooding emo guy who lost his lover like 3 centuries ago, so who cares?
Oh, okay. Yeah, oh, okay.
But he's also pretty insignificant to the plot, and I truly mean that. Like, I forgot his name. I had to look up his name when I was writing the script because I forgot who he was. When I went to Wiki Fandom, his face wasn't even there.
Do you want to fight? Do you want to fight? Okay, then.
Anyways, we have finally the biggest flop of the century, and her name is Cleo.
I got this.
Name?
No, you give me your name.
Cleo is the Moonling King, and she sucks, and she's also queer, but she sucks anyways. Why do they always make the queer characters awful? I don't know. I'm looking at you, Disney. So after all the girlies except for Oro meet, they head over to the Lightlark castle to meet Oro, who is the king. And my biggest question right now is, how does the king live on Lightlark if the island appears every 100 years? Like, did I not read that properly? Does he rent out like a castle? Does he rent out a cottage? Does he summer in the Hamptons? Like, give me some answers, please, Miss Astor. I need the answers. And it's not just the king. There's like the whole population that lives on Lightlark during the Centennial. Where do they go? I don't know. So once all the girls get settled in, the Centennial begins, and Isla has yet another secret. And the secret is that she and Celeste are actually besties. Have known each other for quite a long time actually, and it's all because Isla accidentally teleported into Celeste's room, and then they just hit it off, and then they decided to work together because they both have something that they need when they win, because Isla's island is dying and Celeste is dying. So if they both win, then they can save their realms and save each other. They want to work together in the Centennial by finding this little artifact. It's like a wand, I guess, and it's called the Bond Breaker, and it's a tool that will help them break their curses without murdering anyone, because part of winning the Centennial with the normal rules is that you have to murder one of the rulers. Okay, are you following? Good. Okay, keep up because the plot thickens. Okay, so right off the bat, Cleo the Flop is the biggest op. You see what I did there? I'm a bit of an alliteration genius. She and Isla immediately become enemies. Since the Centennial lasts 100 days, the first 50 days are dedicated to just showing off their powers, and they can't kill each other. So Isla is technically safe. For the first few days to weeks, I guess, it's all about how the rulers get to know each other, and they figure out who to ally themselves with. Celeste and Isla are besties in secret, so they pretend not to know each other because they want people to be unsuspecting of them. During these trials, each ruler gets to plan a trial, and whoever wins the most trials gets to pick the teams and their allies. The average ruler would try to win, but unlike most rulers, Isla and Celeste actually want to lose all the trials so that people think that they're inadequate, and then they pair them together so that they're an easier target. And then the first trial is a Nightshade trial, and the gag is, before this happens, Grimm, the Nightshade leader, gives Isla a bit of a heads up about what the trial is going to be, and he tells her that it's going to be swords play. She buys a cheeky little sword, and then she ends up winning the first match against the bisexual king himself, Azul. Remember him? I didn't. Obviously Celeste is like, hey girlie, you beat him. You're not supposed to beat him. You're supposed to lose so that people think we suck. And then Isla's like, yeah, I got it. But she's like a really good fighter because she had to learn how to fight to protect herself. And that's to compensate with her lack of powers. She almost wins the second match, which is against the High King himself, Oro, but she lets him win because at the last minute she's like, oh, I can't be betraying my girl. I can't be betraying Celeste. So then she loses, and then Oro gets really salty about it, but what can I say, Oro? Cry about it, like, the fuck? So I'll be honest, I can't remember what the trials are, and I'm too lazy to look them up and reread the book, so just trust me on this one. But the most important one was the King's trial, where the rulers drink loose leaf tea, and then their biggest secret was revealed in the tea leaves. And then whoever was willing to reveal the secret won the trial. So everyone except Oro opts out, and they're like, nah, I can't be sharing my secrets. Those are mine to have. Then Oro wins because he tells everyone that he's dying along with the island. I know. Surprise. gagged me. So that's one of the first twists in the book, that Oro is dying and so is the island. And then in the end, Isla and Celeste's plans don't work out because Oro wins all the trials and then he ends up pairing Cleo the Flop with Celeste. And then Azul and Zaddy Grim get paired together, which leaves Oro and Isla to be paired. And then while the centennial happens, our girl Isla is searching for the bond breaker. She's looking in all the libraries to find it. Oro strikes up a deal with her. If she helps him find the heart of Lightlark, which will help break the curse, then he will protect anyone that she wants. But the heart of Lightlark is actually like a flower and it blooms in a different place every centennial, which will help break the curse. Obviously, Isla takes the deal because she wants him to protect Celeste. She's a girl's girl, certified girl's girl. Because Oro can't go out during the daytime, they spend most of their nights together looking for the heart. And this is quite a few chapters. So you might be wondering, at Merlin Lowell, how the heck has Isla not been caught in her secret for not having any powers? Well, not only is Isla a master manipulator, but Oro specifically requests that she doesn't use her powers to find the heart because he doesn't want her to attract any creatures that hate wildlings for some reason. So because she doesn't have to use her powers to protect her from the forest, she gets attacked by this giant plant. This is when I start to like Oro because the plant that attacks Isla has massive thorns. They squeeze like the life out of her, like they dig into her skin, and every time Oro tries to pull her out, the thorns dig deeper into her skin. Obviously he eventually pulls her out like the king he is, even though it hurts him too. And when she frees, she starts to pull out the thorns from her skin because they got lodged in there, and this hurts even more. And obviously Oro wants to help her, but she refuses. So let me just read you a little passage from that part of the book. You can go, she said, closing her eyes tightly. A few seconds passed. She didn't hear him move and wondered if he had simply flown away in that soundless way of his. But when she opened her eyes, there he was, frowning down at her with no doubt a gruesome looking back. The spines are all yours, he said, eyes clear. Reasonable. He motioned towards the dozens of thorns embedded in her arms, thin crimson streaks raining down from them like the tears of blood. I'll get these. She started to shake her head. It's faster, he added. The sooner this is finished, the sooner we can resume our search. His hands were hot against her skin, but surprisingly gentle as they worked, pulling the thorns out one by one. Each was followed by a prick of pain, but nothing compared to the spikes in her back. She wrapped her hand around another, pulled, screamed into her knees. Another one. This one was curved, just an inch from her spine. She pulled, and the jolt tremored through her entire body, needles through her bones, poison in her veins. In the shock, her teeth bit down hard on her tongue, and an animalistic sound left her throat. Blood pooled immediately, dripping from her mouth. Here, suddenly, Oro was offering her something to bite into instead. You're going to bite your tongue off, he said. I've seen it happen before. You have to have something in your mouth before something like... She bit down hard on what he offered. It wasn't until she was done and slumped against a tree that she realized that she was biting into Oro's hand. Now, I know that was a lot, but to summarize, he let her bite his hand. Now, I don't know if y'all are like me, but biting is my love language, so when I read that he let her bite him and there was bite marks, and he took those bite marks like a champ, I folded. I was like... So obviously I'm Team Oro, but I'm also Team Grimm because I love Oro and I love Grimm and I love brooding hot 500-year-old teenagers. Why do you think I'm obsessed with Johnny Gilbert? Come on now. So let me talk a bit more about Grimm. He's developed a bit of a habit of following Isla around like a weird stalker like Edward Cullen. This is because he can turn invisible due to his nightshade powers, and he also calls her Heart Eater. There's this one scene where Isla is running away from Cleo, who definitely has murderous intent, but she bumps into Grimm. I was gonna originally read the passage, but I feel like I'm too lazy, but basically she asks him to hide her. He does. Like, he pulls her close to him, and then he casts a shield so that Cleo can't see them, and then they're like close together, and it's like a romance Wattpad moment. He's like leaning against the wall, like, you know how they do. And it was really attractive. Obviously, ignoring the Wattpad writing style of it all, can you see why I'm conflicted here? Like, Grimm and Oro are both pretty great matches for Isla, I think, but I have to say Grimm just comes in clutch way more often than Oro, though he did save her life on multiple occasions. God, I don't know. So back to Oro. It's almost the 50th days and the girls are fighting, okay? Don't get twisted, the girls are fighting. There may not be murder involved, but there are petty fights. And by girls, I mean Isla and Oro. And by fighting, I mean that Isla is fighting for her autonomy because Oro summons a ghost. This part of the book is actually wild because he makes a deal with a ghost and he tells the ghost that she can possess the most beautiful woman in the realm, who happens to be Isla. She can do this in exchange for information. Possessing aside, can we talk about this? Because if a golden retriever king wanted a ghost to possess the most beautiful person in the world, and then he'd say it was me, I'd rub my hands together and do a little stretch and say, when do we start?
Yes, I did that. And you would do it too for a check. I was an employee.
Now, obviously, I can see why Isla gets mad, because believe me, she gets mad. And she does give consent to have the ghost possess her for a couple seconds on the condition that Oro lets her explore the Sunling library because she wants to find the bond breaker. Obviously, she doesn't tell him why, and then she yells at him afterwards when he doesn't keep his promise and tells her that he'll let her explore the library after they find the heart. So then obviously she gets mad at him, and then she tells him that she'll go during the day when he can't stop her because she's a hashtag girl boss. And then she calls off their deal because she's like, if you're not gonna help me, then I'm out of here. Pitter patter, I'm gonna scatter. Like, toodaloo, bitch. So now Isla and Oro aren't babes, they're just bros, they're not even bro. The thing I love about this scene is that before Isla gets possessed, Oro acts like he's Edward Cullen, and he asks her if she trusts him. And then she's like, bitch, no. Because what? Like, come on, man. Why would she trust him when he wants her to let a ghost possess her? Like, girl, I hate that in romance books when they're like, do you trust me? Like, no, bitch, I do not. I met you 2 days ago. Chill. So naturally, Oro, our baby girl Oro, he enters his redemption arc when he tells the guards at the Sunlight Castle, Prince, he's sweet boy. This is my baby. Oh, you're stepping on my pelvis. Ow, ow. Okay. He's a nervous boy. You're so sweet, baby. You're so sweet, please. Our sweet little golden retriever boy, Oro, he enters his redemption arc when he tells the guards at the library to let Isla into the library whenever she wants, with unrestricted access and without any guarding, because he's like, I trust you, baby girl. You can do it. I am a hashtag feminist girl boss. Like, I don't know if y'all understand the weight and how sweet that is. Like, I might be shifting towards Oro's side. I might be an Oro stan. Like, he literally lets her do what she wants despite them having a falling out. Like, is that not giving Wattpad mafia boss lets YN spend as much money as she wants on his credit card without flinching and is like, girl, got you. There's so much where that money came from. Like, hello? Without batting an eye?
Oh, yeah.
The tea is good. What can I say? So time passes and Isla knows that the bond breaker doesn't exist anymore because she simply cannot find it. It's nowhere to be seen. And then she starts hatching this plan to find the Lightlark heart all by herself because she thinks that it can help her break the curse without the bond breaker. And then Oro and Isla are also back on because they have like their little forgiveness arc. But at the same time, Celeste and Isla are also going through this little bump in the road because times are high stress. It's almost time to be murdering each other. Things are hard. It's also revealed that Oro is so desperate to break the curses because he doesn't think that the island will last another 100 years until the next centennial. So he's like, it's now or never, babes. It's now or never. And then on the 50th day of the centennial, the girls really are fighting because it's officially the day that they can start killing each other. But now they're at this little party, which is basically a pre-game for the murder, so Grimm is nowhere to be seen. And Isla eventually finds him in another room, and this is where they low-key like profess their love to each other, which is so sweet. I'm pretty sure they almost kissed. They definitely do something. They're definitely going to second base in this scene, which is actually wild for a YA book. But anyways, there is simply not enough time to be discussing this matter, so let's continue. So during this party thing, Oro nearly dies and the ballroom nearly crumbles to bits. The ceiling literally crashes down on people and starts killing people and the guests. Isla, being the main character that she is, certified YN, she's able to get through to Oro and she's like, Oro, this isn't you. You have to save everyone. Please do it for me. And then through like the power of love and friendship, as if this is like My Little Pony or something, he's able to like make sure no one else gets hurt. So then a few days pass and then the girls are back at it. Isla and Oro go searching for the heart again, even though he literally almost died, which is crazy. They get captured by these like wasp-like creatures, I guess, which is on purpose, by the way. And then their cocky leader slits Oro's throat for shits and giggles. He's like, bet you guys didn't think that I would do that, did you? And then Oro, being the absolute beast he is, he doesn't even flinch. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't know I was in the presence of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson mouthing himself. Like, hello? He does not flinch. I actually wonder how Isla was able to almost beat Oro in a sword match, but this man literally is the most powerful creature in Lightlark. Like, make that make sense. Is bro just bad at using a sword? Was he just underestimating Isla because she's a woman? I need answers. But then get this, because this absolutely gagged me. Isla works up the courage to tell Oro that she doesn't have any powers, which is literally her deepest secret. She tells him, and you know what this man does?
Do you know what this man does?
You're not ready for this. Motherfucker goes and calls all the rulers together into like a family meeting, and then he's like, Isla doesn't have any powers. Like, huh? Excuse me? So obviously Isla's hurt and her heart shatters into pieces because she finally trusts this man, and then he has the audacity to betray her not even a day later. Then this bitch has to make matters worse by changing the teams. Not only is he like, oh, you don't have powers? Well, I'm gonna tell everyone so that they're gonna want to kill you. And then I'm gonna change the teams so that I don't have to protect you anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Excuse me? So to make matters worse, he makes Cleo the Flop his partner. You know what that means? Two of the baddest bitches, not in the good way, are working together. So the new teams now are Oro and Cleo, which we can go ahead and call the flip-flops because what the flip? They're flopping. And then we also have Celeste and Azul, who are the biggest failures in the world, and I'm not afraid to say that. Do I hear any objections? No, because I'm right. They're useless. Like, honestly, if they croaked by the end of the book, I would not flinch. I would not care. I would not be mad. I said it. Shoot me. I'll go down for it. I'll die on this hill. You can argue with the wall. That leaves my bae Grimshaw and then Isla to be partners, which honestly, I like that pairing because they complement each other well. But obviously, everyone's outraged and shocked, and the girls are gagged when they find out that Isla has no powers. And then Cleo almost tries to kill Isla right on the spot. She's like, oh.
No, brother, I appreciate you. This sounds like a new opportunity.
Our boy Zaddy Grimshaw, he saves the day and teleports her away from safety, which is actually crazy because people aren't supposed to know that he's able to teleport. So when he did that for her, it's like giving away his deepest secret so that he can save Isla. Like, certified lover boy. I love him so much. Like this scene did what it needed to do. I learned my lesson. Trust no one except for the brooding emo. Why? Well, that's a great question, and I'm so glad you asked. Let me read this little chapter for you. Let me read this little bit for you. I knew, he said gently. A second. Another. Knew what? He stepped closer until he was right in front of her. He pressed 2 fingers to her chest. Pushed. She shivered. I knew that you weren't bound by the curses, and that you never wielded power. Isla's entire world blurred, tilted. He knew. What? She imagined her emotions were a tidal wave of feeling, fear and shame and surprise and anguish dueling each other. Nightshades, our power includes curses. I can sense all the others. I knew from the first time I saw you that you weren't bound to them. He had known then. He had known the entire time. I'm not a danger to you, Isla, he said, voice firm, eyes clear. I would never hurt you or divulge your secret. Like, are y'all seeing this? Not only did he know about her secret, but he refused to tell anyone, and he protected her all throughout the Centennial because he knew that she couldn't do the same. She couldn't protect him. He knew that, and he was like, you know what, let me save her anyway because I'm just a good guy. Now, obviously, it's a little suspicious. It's making me a little suspicious of his character, but they say chivalry is dead. I disagree. We have Grimshaw as living proof. I just felt like a random energy crash, like I'm ready to go to sleep. But we prevail. We ball. I have to show a black excellence in this Black History Month. Sorry, what the fuck? When Isla wakes up, she's in Oro's room, and then he starts to chat all this shit about how he had to expose her secrets so he could throw off Cleo because she was on Celeste and Isla's trail and she knew their secrets and stuff. But honestly, all I'm hearing is noise. Like, Oro, you're an op. Get out of here. Like, who cares that you need to make a plan and that you were on Isla's side the whole time? Honestly, he sounds like a toxic ex. So for some reason, Isla accepts this awful explanation of an apology and then they become secret partners again. Isla may have forgotten, but I never will. I'll stay remembering. So fast forward to a couple chapters and then they're in the last stretch of the book. I'm like, come on, let's put this to an end. I'm tired. So then Oro has the audacity to insinuate that Grim is lying to her for some reason. She calls him up and he literally comes running to her like the absolute fucking king he is. But then Isla finds out that not only did Nightshades and Sunlings make Lightlark, the island, but it was also the Wildlings who helped make it too. So this means that Isla is a descendant of one of the original creators. Grimm says that he would have told her with some time, but you know, because this is such a scary situation for Isla, because this is new, she's the new person here, everyone else is like basically older than her except for Celeste. He didn't want to overwhelm her with anything. So then Isla's like, okay, what else aren't you telling me? Grimm takes the opportunity to basically tell her that he's in love with her. Mind you, this is supposed to be a Y book, so why the heck is there smut? I'm searching for answers here. It's not that explicit, but Isla and Grimm end up having sex, and I remember reading The Mortal Instruments by Cassie Clare, the queen of incestuous fanfiction herself, and these scenes weren't nearly as explicit as the ones in Lightlark. Make that make sense. It was to the point where I assumed the role of a concerned parent, and I was like, what kind of 13-year-old kid is reading this? I'm searching, because there are many, and that's concerning. So things almost go to plan, but then Oro experiences one of those heart tremor things, and then when this happens, he goes through this massive amount of pain which causes little earthquakes because he's so weak and he can't control the island. So Isla really doesn't have much to do because she can't really help him. What's gonna do, like give him an ice pack? No. So then she asks what she can do to help him because she's not rude, and then he asks her to sing for him. So then this is the passage that proceeds. She began to sing a wildling song, her favorite song, the song she sang when she wanted to hear her own voice echoed back to her, when she was alone in her chambers and hoped someone far away might hear her, when she wondered if there was someone realms away listening. She sang that song. Don't insult my intelligence. I know this is a YA book, but come on, like 10 chapters ago, there was full-on smut, and now this is what you're gonna write, Alex Astor? By no means am I expecting Charles Dickinson, Jane Austen type writing, but come on here. I hate when books act like their audiences are stupid. We are not stupid. And then she's like, okay, I know how to save everyone. Because it turns out that Oro wants Isla to kill Grimm as the person who is going to be the sacrifice. And she's like, no, Grimm is my man. I'm not trying to kill him. Like, I want to have a future with him. But then Oro is trying to get in between them because he's in love with her, but she doesn't know that. So she wants to run away and break the curses using the bond breaker because she knows where it is. Where is it, you may ask? Well, it's actually in Oro's hidden library this whole time. So they head over to the place of mirrors, whatever it's called, in the wildling territory. But oh man, it's time for another twist. Grimm tells Isla that they knew each other before the Centennial and were actually sneaky links for years. Isla doesn't know this though because Grimm took away her memories because he doesn't want her to know who he is. Obviously, Isla doesn't take this very well and she doesn't trust him anymore because he messed with her memory. That's pretty weird. Don't do that, Grimm. But still, if I were Isla, I don't think I would have cared because he's fine as hell. What can I say?
I was an employee.
Okay, Pookie. It's okay. We'll figure it out. And then Celeste and Isla start using the bond breaker, but here's the gag. Suddenly, Isla feels super weak, and Oro and Grimm bust into the room, and then they're telling Isla to get away from Celeste. But why? Why do you ask? The girls are confused. Celeste pulls out this evil villain laugh, she switches up on everyone real quick, and then guess what? Her real name is Aurora. And she's the one who spun the curses. And all those years ago, she faked her death, and then she just pretended to be a new ruler every 25 years or so that people would never know it was her. And then she ends up chaining up Oro and Grimm so that they can't help Isla. I can't remember why she did the curses and everything, but the idea was to get revenge on the Sunling realm because she wants to like be the ruler and someone killed her lover or something. I can't remember. She chose to get close to Isla because she knew that she was vulnerable because she was so young and she wasn't there when the curses were spun. Then she tricks Grimm into helping her, saying that they can get revenge on Oro because he's the Sunling King who kind of betrayed Aurora. Oro is also Grimm's enemy because the Nightshades and the Sunlings were never good with each other. She told Grimm, she coerced him into getting Isla and Oro to fall in love with each other, but because Grimm and Isla were already sneaky links and basically in love, he had to take away Isla's memory so that she wouldn't remember that they were in love when they meet again. But because Grimm is so down bad, he was unable to resist his urges and he still couldn't stay away from Isla because he's just a certified lover boy. Like, come on, like, it's okay, Pookie, I forgive you. But the gag is, without Isla using her wildling powers, she was able to get Oro to fall in love with her just because that's fate. They fell in love with each other just because they're compatible. So now, both Oro and Grimm are in love with Isla, but Isla hates Grimm because he is the one who lied to her and Oro is the only one she can trust because Celeste, who is now Aurora, lied to her too. Now the thing is, because Celeste and Isla used the bond breaker together, Celeste was able to snatch all the powers using Isla, and now she has all the powers. So then Isla is able to like take back all the powers, then she kills Celeste, and then she heals the land, she heals the islands and everything, and then everything is fine and dandy. I know, that's quite a climactic end, but basically things end with Isla and Oro being together, and then the curses are broken, and then all is well. Okay, so I know that was a bit of a doozy. That was a lot to remember. I had a hard time remembering everything. But let me give a little rating of the book. I would rate the book about 3 out of 5 stars. I keep giving books 3 out of 5 stars, but this really was a 3 out of 5 stars. One thing I really like about it is that it kept me interested the entire time. Every time I was turning pages, staying up until like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. reading the book, I just wanted to know what happened next. I think Alex Astor does a really good job of keeping the readers in. However, this book is very much YA. Like, if you're looking to be intellectually stimulated while you read, do not read this book, because the writing is very basic, it's very easy. It's like a book that you would read if you want to get back into reading, because it doesn't require too much thinking, except for the lore, because the lore is a little bit confusing. I don't think I'll read the sequel because I don't like the fact that Isla and Grimm did not end up together, and Grimm is my man. Honestly, I really like Oro though in the end, because he turned out to be a good guy. Do I think it was overhyped by TikTok? No, actually. I think it's a really good book. Again, a little bit too much of an easy read, but that's not really a huge concern, because if that's what you're looking for, then that's what you get. If you have watched the entire video, good job, because I be seeing those retention analytics, and most people just kind of dip at like the 2-minute mark, which is fine, that's fair. But if you made it to the end, then good job. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, leave a hate comment, keep me humble. And if you want to see more content like this, then subscribe, I guess. I do a lot of book reviews. Right now I'm reading Bram Stoker's Dracula, so that'll be coming out soon. And then I'm also going to read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, because that's also coming soon. And I'm also going to read that after I finish Dracula. I will see you later. Bye-bye.